Okay, so I'm going to be explaining my ideal classroom using the Prezi format. And we're going to start with the physical arrangement, which includes color scheme, student areas, and teacher areas. So we're going to go ahead and start with color scheme. After doing some research, I found that blues and greens used in the classroom have a calming and relaxing effect, whereas colors like yellow and orange can make people feel uncomfortable or overwhelmed. So after taking those into consideration, I was looking around at classrooms that already utilize the blue-green color scheme. And I found this common teal color that I absolutely love and will definitely include in my classroom. Here you can see it's used as like a lab, and I think it just gives it such a professional and simple, clean look without it being distracting or overwhelming. And if I were ever at a school where maybe I cannot paint the walls, I can keep a neutral tone on the walls like gray or white, but I can add a splash of color with the lighting fixtures, furniture, organization systems, pillows, really anything, just to make it a little more fun and visually appealing but not distracting. Okay, so next is the student areas. So I'm going to talk about the desks. I prefer the desks to be in this arrangement, and it's actually called the horseshoe or U-shape. I prefer this because I want every student to be able to see the front of the room. One thing I don't like about this particular diagram is I don't like where the teacher's desk is, but I'll get to that later. But I prefer my students to sit like this because everyone can see the board. Everyone has a partner. Nobody's in each other's way. So sometimes, with rows, it's hard to see behind people or people turn around, get distracting. If people are talking over here, it won't be as much of a distraction for the people over here as it would be if they were sitting in rows. And I think it's also easier to go around and pass out papers or have a walkway even. And if it were to be where I had a situation where I had more students than in the previous pictures, I could format it in these ways where you just kind of do like layers of it. But that way everyone can still see the front of the board. It's still organized. There's still room for me to walk through and do what I need to do. Next, I'm going to talk about teacher areas. Something I really like about this particular picture is how organized her desk is. I believe that organization is key, and I want my desk to always be clean and not just be a dumping area for papers and whatnot. On the next picture, I love this organization system she has set up behind her desk. I like that it's color-coded for the papers. That's definitely something I would like to do with my filing. And then I like how she has this storage bin where she has her phone and some other cabinets and folder holders. She's got a little plant and a lamp. So I can personalize it a bit, but I just love how organized it is and how there's so many different things she can put her papers into. So this last desk is actually a more modern take of a teacher desk, but I love it because I think compared to the last ones, this one is the most open and has the least amount going on. So if I don't want my desk to be the pull. I don't want to be a teacher that's always sitting at their desk working on things, whatever. I want my desk to be something I can go to later when the students aren't in the classroom, but when I'm teaching, I'm teaching. I'm not sitting at my desk and I'm not teaching from my desk. So I will have my desk located in the back of the room so that I'm not going to be tempted to sit down or do anything at my desk. And I just think it utilizes the space so much more to have, everything be stacked up, but it's still in like a nice and organized manner. And the important things that I need to get to every day can be down here, and I like this little clipboard under the clock that can have like a calendar or things going on it. But I just think it gives it such a professional and clean looking vibe to it. Next are the specialized areas. I absolutely love the idea of having every student has their own bin for their art supplies, then every student has their bin, like their mailbox, but in a nicer way over here where they can be in charge of their mailbox rather than having it be on me to take care of things. This way it can give them their own space to put things that's not the locker, because I'm not going to have them going out to their locker every time they need to go put something away. But if I have it in the classroom like this, they can take ownership of it and they can be accountable for making sure that their papers get put where they need to go. I also love, honestly, just the way that the room is set up, organized with the posters and everything. There's color in it, but not too much distracting. I don't like things hanging down. I think that it can cause distractions, especially for the students with ADD, ADHD, and so on. It's important for them to not have too much stimulation in the room, and so I think having a professional and clean-looking classroom can really benefit those students. I also want to include a small group table. I would like 2 of these if I had a room big enough to support it. I think it's good for students to have a place in the room to go and work on things when they want to, do it in a group. I think it's good to have a designated area for them that allows them to work on that. Also, I'm a big believer in small group lessons for the ones that need it. Instead of reteaching to the entire class, have the class work on something else that's further working on the skills and concepts, but then the ones that need the help can go back to this small little table and I can work on things with them over there. I would definitely want to include computers in my actual classroom. I don't want tablets or like a Chromebook. I would prefer to have an actual computer, but I won't be picky because I might not have a say. But I just think it's really good for them to use the computers whenever they have a chance to. Technology is being used regularly in a lot of schools and definitely in the work world. So the sooner that I can introduce them to the format of them and how they work, the better, in my opinion. And I think research is so important. And if I can have a computer in the classroom, it's easier for students to do research. The reason I would prefer computers rather than tablets is I intend on teaching 4th grade and up. And when you get to those ages, I think that tablets just aren't as helpful as they are with the younger ones. And I think that they should be working more on actual computers and doing research pages and actual papers that are properly formatted. Where on a tablet, it's more games and activities. This is how I would like to ideally set up my library in my classroom. I want it to look like a real library so that students can get used to knowing how to find books that they're looking for just like they would in an actual library. And I think it gives it a professional looking environment, and then if students even would like to contribute their books, and I would like that as well. Along with the library, I think seating for the library is really important. So I'd like this little chair set up on this top picture. I would love to have something like that in my room, or even in the bottom picture how it has a bench. The more comfortable places that I can offer for students to go and have a quiet place to read, I think the more excited they'll be about reading. And since reading is such an important component within education, the more I can encourage it in however way I can, I will definitely do that. This next picture is showing how I want my whiteboard front area of the room to look. I am intending on having a smart board since most schools carry some sort of interactive whiteboard. But I want to still have regular whiteboards to write on. So I would prefer a setup like this where I have one of each or 2 whiteboards per the one smartboard, just because I'm not going to use the smartboard for everything. And sometimes a whiteboard is just easier to have on hand, and I don't want to have to completely rearrange the room whenever I want to use it or have the kids move their desks. I'd prefer to just have at least both of these up front. When it comes to behavior management tools, I'm going to have posters around the entire room that go over our rules, courtesies, and expectations. In the first 3 weeks of school, I'm really going to work with students on their procedures so that they know how to handle themselves in the classroom and they know what I am expecting from them. But these will still be around the room just to serve as reminders. Here are some of the organizational systems that I like. When it comes to mailboxes, I would like to have something like this for me by my desk so that I can quickly put things away, and then I can designate that students come and grab it from there to move it where it needs to go. I would like to have little organizational pouches like these for different supplies on a back door or a back wall. Not on the front door, because I think that would get too chaotic every time someone opens the door, that's swinging around. But I think it's nice because everyone will know where it goes. It's very visual and out in the open, so it would be easy for anyone to find and for anyone to show someone. And then down here, I like this little basket idea of having a finish and a more time basket. That way I'll know everyone did it and I won't have to search and find out who didn't hand it in, but I can see where they need more time and why they need more time, because maybe they just need more time because they're not understanding a skill or a concept that I can go over with them quickly and then they can finish it. But that way it'll be a little more organized, so I don't have to go through and find the ones that aren't completed. This is just another management system for handling the flow of papers. I think they're all great ideas, and I would love to have a table set up just like this. This next one is a little kit that's made just for the substitute. I will definitely include this in my classroom. In it, there will be a school map and all the lesson plans being used. Also a survival guide for substitutes with quick references, a little thank you pouch, extra pencils, markers, scissors, so that the sub doesn't have to ask the students where things are. I think it's my responsibility to make sure that whenever a substitute comes into my classroom that they have all the materials necessary for effectively teaching the students. And so I will definitely include this little kit for all my substitutes. And that is my ideal classroom.